I'm going to show you how to sew a scrunchie. I've actually shared this method on my other channel and it's the fastest way. I tested a bunch of different ways and time myself, and this was the fastest method. It's called the burrito method, but I use a hot dog and bun analogy, which sounds a little funny, but I think it helps explain it a little bit better. So you need a piece of fabric that's 22 inches long by 5 inches wide, a piece of elastic that is 7 inches long. I'm using 1/4 inch wide, but I tend to go smaller than this normally. I've even used cord elastic. I find that that mimics a regular hair elastic a bit better. The thicker you go, the harder it is to wrap it around the hair. And then you just need a safety pin for feeding the elastic through the scrunchie. So to start, I serge my edges, but you don't have to. I normally don't. These were just fraying a bit more. So you want to fold it lengthwise with right sides together and stitch along the ends, back stitching at the start and end, and I use about 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then you can just finger press that seam open or use an iron if you like, but I usually just finger press it and it turns out fine. So here's where the hot dog and bun analogy comes in. We're going to create a hot dog by folding up this top layer where our seam is. So that's our hot dog. And then this bottom layer is our bun. So we're going to fold our bun around our hot dog and have those top edges line up. So again, I use about 1/4 inch seam allowance and back stitch at the start, making sure that your centerpiece is tucked in and it's not going to get caught in your stitching. And keep lining up your edges as you go. And then as you come to the end, you're going to hold onto the bun at the back and pull on the hot dog to feed that forward and give yourself more fabric to sew. So make sure that that's tucked in, line up your edges, and keep sewing. And then as you come back around to where you started sewing, you want to leave about 1 inch to 1.5 inches opening. So I just use about 3 fingers and put my finger there, and that's where we'll stop sewing and backstitch. Now through that opening, you can grab the folded up piece and pull it right side out. Now we're going to thread our elastic through. So you can use a bodkin or a safety pin, and then if you want, you can use another safety pin to hold that into place just so you don't lose it. I find once you get used to it, I can hold it with my pinky finger and feed it through. And then you can stitch the ends of your elastic together, but I find just a balloon knot is the quickest. And then if you pull on it like that, it's really secure. That's not gonna untie at all. Clip off any excess. And then just line up the edges of your opening. And you're gonna stitch as close to that edge as you can, backstitching at the start and end. And your scrunchie is finished.